Three, two, one, boom. And we're back from that episode of Scrap Gamers. The episode brought to you by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and accessories at zenroclothingco.com and use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, be sure to check out the Zenro Radio playlist. They're all free and on Spotify. Finally, if you're located in the Port Union area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out the Port Union Bakery for daily baked goods crafted with love. Some top sellers are the donuts, which were voted number one on BlogTO, as well as the chicken empanadas, and bread. People just love the bread from the bakery. You can freeze it, so there's no preservatives, so it doesn't really last very long. But if you throw it in the freezer, fun fact, it'll last quite some time. Okay, so what are we going to start off with? Let's start off with the mic. You know what? If you're listening to this and you're like, hey, you guys sound a lot clearer. Well, at least I sound a lot clearer. And there's no like double echo. That is because I picked up the exact same mic as Vish. And there's been some presets on it. If you want to check it out, it's the Blue Yeti. It's just called the Blue Yeti, right?
I guess.
Yeah. If you check out the setup tour, you'll see I have the Blue Yeti Nano. And like I tried to do that because of like cost reasons. But you get what you pay for. Life lessons. Now I have two mics, but I'm giving the other one to France, so that'll be great when he's back on stream. But yeah, I don't know. I'm quite impressed with this mic's ability to only capture what's in front of it.
Well, this is with the features on, right? Like it's not necessarily just the mic itself; it's the other added on
OBS
filters
presets. Yeah, for sure.
OBS.
But what I find interesting is like if you had just like there was none for the Nano, you know.
Well, I didn't look up.
No, I was looking up too.
But I think it was new at the time, so it wasn't really
right. So, but I mean, like this is the tried and true one. Like, what are these? Like, there's those other new mics that like Joe Rogan has, and like I noticed guests who were on Joe Rogan, they started getting those mics.
Yeah.
You said you knew what they were. They're like
Shure mics, Shure, like I said, Shure, I think it is. Like they're like 500, 600. They can go up pretty high.
Yeah.
But they're like condenser mics, so you have to like have like a mixer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it doesn't just go. It's not a USB.
Oh, it's not like plug and play like ours.
No, it's not a USB thing. It's a mix. You got to put it into a mixer, then the mixer goes into the PC.
So when you watch like the Lex Friedman podcast, like he's like filming his guests while also recording them using that mic. So you think he has a crazy setup? Like he's probably got like a mixer, and he's obviously has two cameras going. Like
yeah, I mean you can still do it the same way here because a lot of people on Twitch use that same mic.
The Shure?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, anyone that's like big up there, right? Because that's just a condenser mic, so.
And it just sounds better.
It just, of course, it sounds better, but like, yeah, and it doesn't capture everything. Like sometimes there are things. I mean, you don't have to necessarily. I don't know if there are filters, but it's already a condenser mic, so you don't need to worry about outside sound. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I mean, like, that's when you're starting to really level up, you know? Like they're really doing like these.
Well,
crazy
yeah. I
podcasts
mean, you don't really need to spend $600 yet.
Yeah, totally. But these mics that
But I like but for me though, it was like I was like getting into that. It's just like as a tech thing, it's like, okay, how do I like fool around with the mixer and stuff and
that's so funny.
That's kind of
like,
thing that I was like looking into as.
Totally. And it's funny because like between the two of us, you're like the real techie person. So like I would have never looked into any of this stuff. Like the fact that we have this even running, like from a digital perspective, like yeah, sure. Like you look at like the visuals and you're like, oh, that's cool. Like I know how to do the visuals, but like the actual like technical stuff, I'm like so lost on.
Right. I mean, this is still a bit more technical, even with the OBS. But like now, they're trying to make it easier for everyone to stream, right? Like Twitch or whatever. Yeah. Like through the app itself, you can do it.
Oh, really? Eh?
Yeah.
So like what mobile app?
Yeah, through the Twitch app. Yeah, you can just like stream it, but more like it's like the IRL stuff, not necessarily the gaming thing yet.
Oh, okay.
That's an extra step.
But you don't actually need OBS for that stuff or whatever.
No, because you're doing it right directly from the app. No.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So okay, there you go. Like look into that. Just use the Twitch app. We use OBS still, so.
Yeah. Well, yeah, to capture the game and stuff. That's still an extra step, but like. Well, like, even like if you have the PS4 or whatever 5, it's like you can just stream right from that too. And if you buy their camera, it's like there are ways they've made it very easy for a lot of people to just get into it.
But it's funny because like if you actually look at like the videos, like the Socratic Gamers videos of the gaming stuff, it looks very simple, but like a lot of like work actually goes into like like those two cameras of us and like the audio and like ensuring that like Fran's audio gets captured too, you know?
Yeah.
It's funny because like when I was in Times Square, I was looking at. I remember I was talking to Tara's mom about this, and like she was like, "Oh, isn't Times Square amazing?" And I was like, "Yeah, it is amazing." But I was like, "It's amazing because how did they actually get all of those screens to synchronize themselves at the same time, play one video?"
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, I never thought of it like that." It's like, yeah, like we look at it like the consumer level. You look at it as like, "Oh, that's pretty easy,"
Right. Yeah.
but what's easy is usually really hard to like pull off.
So, like even with me, I don't really care about concerts as much, but like I'm not really. I think I get more dragged into, instead of looking on the stage, I get dragged towards like the sound stage.
Yeah,
Like how
I
are
find
like
that
all
too.
these knobs, like how are they doing the
that's
levels and mixing? Like that's the stuff that I kind of like.
Remember we went to Warped Tour?
Yeah.
And like I love looking at the mixing boards too because it's like even at I was like covering this this gala event, and like I was like taking like video of it, and then I spent my whole time next to like the sound people because I'm like the tables, they're all looking at the speaker, and like there's all these like videos that are playing and stuff, and I'm like, you guys have no idea what like wizardry is actually happening on this mixing board with this like producer, you know, or even like TV shows like not just TV shows but like live events like UFC, right? There's like there's a control room, you know. And like nobody ever thinks about like what goes on behind the scenes. We're all like obsessed with the flashiness that's in front of us.
Yeah, I think the general people are, but like I get into the BTS or the behind the scenes sort of thing all the
True.
time.
Game of Thrones, like every time we'd watch like an episode, we'd always watch like the Game of Thrones. How did they do it?
Yeah, like all that, and it's like I always do that even with the movies. Like I always, after watching the movie, I always watch the behind the scenes. Like how did they do that?
Right.
And like it's interesting to see like most of it's like not even natural sound. Like they have to
create it.
They have to create the sound.
That's the trippy part. Like I didn't know. Like I thought it was captured with those boom mics on the thing, but like those boom mics, they're capturing like audio, like dialogue.
Well, they can. What happens is like let me.
Hold on. If you don't know what a boom mic is, it's like a giant stick with a microphone attached to the end, and like if you don't want to wire your actor up with like a lapel mic, in order to capture the audio, you put that boom mic there so you can capture the dialogue between the two people.
Yeah,
but it's out of frame. It's out of frame.
Yeah, and then they generally do, if they can't capture it as well, they do that. I forgot what the term was, but they make him revoice it, like, or voice over kind of thing.
Yeah, totally,
right?
totally. Yeah.
But that's like, it just reminds me, like, we talked about this before too. I think Christopher Nolan doesn't do that. He just uses the actual thing.
And that's why people get irritated because he doesn't want to do like voiceovers. But Tenet, by the way, speaking of that, my favorite movie of all time. Honestly, it's like, it's up there with Matrix. It's coming out for purchase, I think, like holiday season.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. But anyways, so we can watch it with subtitles.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's notorious for that. And if you watch like Tenet, you're like, I can't understand the dialogue. I had to watch it so many times, and still parts were like, I can't hear it.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, like what I was talking about, like not fast. Ford versus Ferrari. Like for instance, like cars, like they do capture the stuff, like on their own, each car, like what kind of sound they're making when they're whizzing by and stuff. Like they don't use the stuff that's on set. They pre-record all that, then they put it or mix it into the thing, so they can level off whatever. Sometimes something needs to be louder, something needs to be quieter.
Right.
That's how they,
On a musical level too, actually, it's funny because like they're all just like recycling how to do the same thing. So like a movie is just like recording a song, because you record every instrument so you can level it off later. You're like, oh, let's make the guitar get louder at this point. All right, let's like turn it down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's make sure like this, but everything gets captured. Like if you look at a drum mic setup, it's like there's one mic for like every single like tom, the bass drum, a crash, the hi-hat, like everything gets like mixed as one. But it's the same for like movies, right? You have like the one sound effect, and then you have the dialogue, and then you have like the other behind sound effect. You know what's interesting? Like filler noises. I never appreciated mundane filler noises until you watch those behind the scenes, and then they show you it with and without it. So like white noise, you know, if there's no traffic in the background, it sounds weirder
Yeah.
than if there was traffic. But
Right.
it's like the subtleties that you have to ensure in the movie, to create like
I
that.
mean, I mean, that's the whole point of that's the magic of filmmaking, right? So it's like this is
Yeah.
all the stuff that you don't even think about, but it's in your own natural world that you're used to it.
Totally. Yeah.
That if there's something missing, it's like it's kind of weird.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would love to get into like filmmaking one day. That'd be really cool. Just to see what it's like, just like work on it one time. Like I was watching, but I mean, it's very DIY. Like Jason Momoa, I was watching his like behind the scenes, and like his production company is called Pride of Gypsies, and like they do a lot. Like they did a bunch of like frontier battles, and like the Sea show on Apple.
Yeah.
So he like directed a couple of those. So like he's building his like director acumen by like directing episodes, and it's fascinating. Like they use such small cameras now to do like all that stuff. Like
Yeah. I mean, that's sometimes it's even that you just use an iPhone on some scenes.
right, like the Avengers one, right? They used the iPhone for the Avengers movie.
Well, yeah, probably some stuff. I don't
Yeah.
remember where, but like, yeah,
It
okay.
was weird. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
wow, technology's like advanced so far. Like gone are the days that you have like I remember when I was like first getting into like photography and like doing weddings with like Wob, and like I'd put as many attachments onto my camera as possible so it would look like, well, it's a pretty like serious piece of equipment. But like if you actually looked at what it was like a very standard camera, like
Right.
a very, very entry level camera, but like it's the attachments that like sold it. You
Right.
know? But now
Now it's the opposite.
right now you look at the advanced technology and you're like, oh, these cameras are a lot smaller. But
Well,
then
no. Well, they look at like, okay, wait, we need lighter because sometimes you need
Lighter,
some
yeah,
scenes
yeah.
to be like you need a small space for a small camera and
yeah, or like you're running and you need like a gimbal on it, so
Yeah,
you gotta like
yeah.
if you don't know what a gimbal is, it's like basically creates that floating effect.
or yeah, it's like or like the drone thing.
Or
Like,
drones, yeah. Drones are
things-
fascinating too. That it's like, wow, a drone is like such high res, but it's like so small.
Mhm.
You know, the DJI came out with a drone that's like I saw their commercial. It's smaller or like the same size as your iPhone.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know. It's like so compact you could fit in your pocket,
Mhm.
and then that thing is like 4K full resolution.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Technology's come so far. Yeah, but I mean that's like the Moore's law thing. You know Moore's law.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what Moore's law is, it's like every year technology doubles. It's like ability to execute doubles, but its size gets cut in half or something like that.
Yeah.
So like each like that's their like the law that they have to follow, where it's like every year technology gets better but smaller.
Mhm.
Yeah, over time. Yeah. So needless to say, I'm pretty stoked over.
Well, the only thing that they haven't figured out yet, I think, is battery.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah,
That's
we
the
were
only
talking
thing
about
that
that.
hasn't changed.
We were talking about that.
in-
There's a reason why I got the Garmin and not the Apple Watch because, like, well, two reasons: the durability and the battery life. Like
Yeah.
this Garmin's like it's built like a tank, and its battery life is like 14 days on using every single thing.
yeah.
But it can be like infinite if you turn everything off and it's just a watch. Like it just use sunlight to like power itself.
Right.
But
Well,
like,
the thing is, yeah, I mean that what they're doing, right? They're doing two different things, or like there's more
Right,
focus on the
right.
screen for the watch, right? But like
yeah, totally.
I'm saying, like in general for phones, it's like in order to have a longer battery life, you need a bigger battery.
or a completely different way to power
The only
things.
the only thing they can do is what Apple tries to do because they have the whole control is to optimize the software to be much more efficient. That's the only thing you can do.
Oh yeah, so it
So
uses
you
less
can
power.
deal with, yeah, you can.
That
use
makes
less power.
sense.
Yeah, that's the only way. But the battery size does not change.
Oh,
You
so your
haven't figured that
limitation
out.
is just battery.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's really come down to battery now.
fascinating.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to think about. Yeah, it's weird. Like if you actually think about how far we've come, it took a it took less memory on a floppy disk, or as much memory on a floppy disk to get to the moon.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like nothing now because it's a kilobyte. Like I think like a floppy disk could only hold like 2 megabytes or something like that before,
Yeah.
and it was less than a floppy disk.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what all that really means because a lot of that stuff was calculated and they did a lot of hand calculations back in the day.
No, totally, yeah,
Right,
but
so,
right, exactly, yeah.
What's really I don't know what that like, you know what I mean? I get it.
Yeah,
It's like they went to the moon when there was just like a big ass floppy drive
Yeah,
or whatever.
totally,
But it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I get it, but like we still haven't gone back to the moon yet. So
No, true, but that's also like due to like politics and like
yeah, that's true.
funding and
Yeah.
like
I
all
think I
that
think I
stuff.
think we'll get there pretty soon. I
The
feel like it's
moon,
coming.
base on the moon.
The base on the moon will take some time, but I think going to the moon will probably happen in this decade.
Hmm. Yeah, I can see it.
I think so.
I mean, especially if we're going to Mars. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean the Mars is also planned for this decade. So
yeah, that'll be a very interesting. It's funny. I remember I saw this thing like Elon Musk said the laws on Mars. No, Mars won't be governed by the rules on Earth, like rules of man, something like that. And like, but if you hear it, it's like, wow, that's so like, what is this utopia that you're building?
Mhm.
But it's like if you actually listen to it, it's funny because it's like, of course, it's not going to be because you have to write your own rules. Like, who owns Mars? We don't have that. Yeah, I think he was thinking about it logically, whereas like people took it very like esoterically.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's one of like it's his trolling that I love. You know, like not a flamethrower. You know, like stuff like that. Like such a genius.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's just international. Anything outside of Earth is that international?
That's why he said it. It made sense. But like
Right.
people who heard it were like a utopia. You're building some spiritual colony up there.
Yeah, it's like I mean they put the American flag on the moon, but it's not America's moon, right? It's just like a symbolism thing.
Right? Yeah. They don't actually.
But nobody
own.
has control over.
Totally. Yeah.
That'll be an interesting thing to see. Like when we start mining the moon,
True.
how are these rights? Like who owns it and stuff like that? How does that happen?
Or is it just like no man's land and then like remember Ad Astra?
Yeah.
And then there were like wars on the moon.
Well, yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that, you know. You got
Right.
pirates,
Yeah, that will probably eventually happen when you actually create civilization over there.
but also like for there to be pirates, you'd have to have like for there to be pirates, you'd have to have like some crazy. Sorry about Athena. For there to be pirates, you'd have to have like some crazy technology where it's like scalable and consumer ready.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, how would the pirate afford space suits?
No, it's not. I think it'd be like
They would have stolen the spacesuits. How would they know how to use spacesuits?
I feel it's more about like
You'd have to be a very
it's-
intellectual pirate.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit more like just competing businesses. Like there's actually
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about like Ad Astra, how there was pirates on the moon.
Yeah, but I don't know what that like. Did they really get into who they were? Or like how did that?
Oh, true. So you think it's like corporate espionage kind of
Yeah.
thing? Oh, that'd be interesting. I could see that.
I mean, like you're only on the moon, I guess, for mining stuff, right? Like what does that mean? Like the materials that you're looking.
right.
So if that's what's happening, I don't know. I have to watch it again. I don't know if they talked about that in Ad Astra.
No, I don't.
I
think
don't
he-
remember.
He just said
It was
like
just a quick
wars
thing.
and pirates, and he was like giving some introspective thoughts about like
Okay,
yeah.
I'll see it again. I think that's up on Crave or something.
Yeah, but it was a slow movie though.
No, I just go to that part.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to the whole movie.
Yeah.
I did
Just
like
like
that
fact
scene though
checking.
on the moon.
Yeah, no,
kinda
it was great.
cool.
It was great. Yeah,
yeah.
love the effects. Remember that movie Gravity? And they were like, was that the one movie where? No, Neil deGrasse Tyson didn't like that movie, right? Because her hair would have been all in her face.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that doesn't really follow all of science. It was just I like the movie though.
Yes, yeah. I still haven't watched that movie.
I enjoyed it.
You know
for-
what's
for
interesting?
space stuff.
When you think about how many movies have been created that like we don't like they were great at the time, but you don't think about them anymore. Remember yesterday when I was like trying to figure out what movie it was that the character looked like,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh, House Party," and you guys were like, "I never heard of it." But there's like these cultural movies that have come out, but like throughout time, you know, and like they help shape or like they help cement a generation.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then like they just get forgotten. Like,
Yeah.
do you remember like that? Do you remember that high school movie where they go in? It's like a supply teacher, and then it's like in like the hood or whatever, and then she has to like help them get good grades.
Vaguely.
Vaguely, right? But it was like that was a defining movie for a lot of people. You know, it's just funny how like art kind of moves that way. And then you go into like the '60s, and people talk about like Citizen Kane, you know, or like Schindler's List.
Right. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, some of these things end up becoming like if they're taught in school too, right?
Yeah,
Citizens
totally.
Kane's taught in
Like,
school.
yeah, I saw Schindler's List in school too.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird how you know we. It's weird how like you can get really like posh about it, where it's like, oh, you haven't seen Citizen Kane, you know, like one of the best movies of all time. And you put it in, you're like, dude, this is a trash movie. Like the graphics aren't, it doesn't hold up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. But the thing is with those movies, they still follow through with the same kind of filming.
What do you mean?
The cameras. Like it was like one of the first ones like using certain techniques of filming
Okay.
that are still used now.
Oh, that's
why it's the iconic thing because of that.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about like snooty film snobs who are like talk about.
Yeah, because I know what you're talking about. Like, but I don't care about all that. Like,
But you're talking about like educational purposes.
Because I did take like a film, like an elective thing.
Yeah.
About film, and like they did talk about that. And it's just I see now like because it was like one of the ones that did the first thing with maybe move the camera this way. Like there's like a like
Yeah.
and then they all have done the same thing. I think it was like one of those old movies where it's like the first movie where the person or the actor looked at the audience on set, like on the. Like like that, then that's the iconic thing for that movie. That
they broke the fourth wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then it's like we see that used today too.
Right.
Well, because it started from then.
Oh, interesting. That's fascinating.
So that's kind of like where why these things I guess are remembered for that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. Fascinating.
Yeah.
Know your history. That's the lesson of the day. Yeah. So, any other final thoughts on technology?
I mean, everything's great as we go on. PS5 as the next technology as it is.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of technology, TikTok. We
and then we get that.
and then we get TikTok. So like, it's a weird time. Like instant fame. You know, like everyone's chasing that one video that can go viral.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So like, but it's weird though because it's like, how viral can that video get? You know, because we share like meme videos back and forth, but we don't care who the creator is.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly like DMing other people like memes that I've seen, like little TikTok videos that I think are funny that are posted on Instagram. Like I don't have a TikTok myself because like I don't see the purpose. And often like bigger companies will absorb that capability into their own system. So like Instagram now has Reels, which is basically TikTok. So it's like
Yeah.
the exact same thing, just called a different name.
Well, they all have to compete with each other, and they're like, "Oh wait, this is getting popular. Let's do one for ourselves."
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for sure. And like, yeah, but like, what is the idea of fame? I don't understand. Like, I keep hearing on these podcasts that I listen to, but like, if you want to be rich and famous, try rich first, and then see if you want the fame.
Yeah.
Because like you lose a lot of things when it comes to like fame, and it's like it's very like transient. Like you could be the biggest box office like star, and then all of a sudden it's like you're not popular anymore.
Yeah, you also lose you can get all that, but it's also you lost your freedom too.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's just watching you. And
Yeah.
You don't have the freedom to just go out in the normal world.
Yeah, totally. Actually, wait, but before we continue, because it's like tripping me out right now, look at the audio bar as I'm talking.
Yeah.
Okay, now look at when you talk.
What?
Say something.
Okay, what am I saying?
See mine moving? All right, so if you hear an echo on this stream, I promise we'll figure it out for the next one.
I don't think there's an echo.
Oh, really? But my bar's moving as you talk, but my bar's not. But your bar's not moving when I talk. So look, I'm talking.
Yeah. But when I start talking, it should. Maybe it's echoing off the wall. I don't understand that.
Right? See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe
it's because of the way. All right. Sorry, technical difficulties. You guys listen to this being like, what are they talking about right now? If there's an echo on this, sorry, we'll figure it out for the next stream. Okay. Yeah. So,
I don't know why mine's not picking yours up.
right? It's kind of weird, but all right, whatever. Maybe I have a weird setting on this.
The gain is down, right? Yeah.
All right, whatever. Who cares?
We'll have to just hear and see.
Yeah, hopefully it's
because it is still going down. It's just a little bit there. Like it does happen to mine too.
not really, not compared to mine. See that?
True.
Yeah. All right, whatever.
Maybe I'm a bit too loud.
maybe my voice doesn't carry. I've been told that. Like I don't
Oh, that's probably
project,
true.
right? I don't
Yeah.
project, so
Right,
maybe
right.
it's just right in front. Anyways, so yeah, like fame, right? So the idea of fame, and it's weird how like, you could be the big. I don't know if I just said that, but like you could be the biggest box office superstar, and then like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. you just-
nobody cares about you anymore. So it's like, why do you want to be famous? What are you be famous for? You know what I mean? Like I feel like what are you chasing the fame for, and what do you want to be known for?
I think it's just connected to, it's just like a pop culture. I think it's just known as, well, with rich or fame comes rich, or with
Notoriety, or maybe it's like you're like missing something inside of yourself, like a hole that you want to fill.
yeah, but like you see it all around you, right? I think that's just kind of like you want to get remembered or something. It's something innate, probably.
No, but that's what I mean. Like the hole you want to fill. Maybe you think that your life is like not important.
Right.
So if I can get famous, it suddenly becomes important.
Right.
But then now you're just living for the idea of other people's validation.
Right. I think there is that, and I think what people tend to forget or don't read about people who do become that, and then realize where they're not fulfilled with their life.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the part that the people are missing out of that information.
Exactly. And but I mean, the only way to know, I really like that healthy gamer guy because he said like you can't meditate on an empty stomach, and that like line is so great because like he's like you have to fulfill all of your itches before you have no itch left, and then you're like, oh, I'm still spiritually like deprived, so I have to find something that's worthwhile.
Okay.
See what I'm saying? So it's like if I become famous, maybe it'll all go away. But then it's like, even though we can sit back and be like, oh, that's not true, not just from our perspective, but like you can hear famous people talk about it all the time. But it's like maybe you need to go through that experience to know fully about that experience.
Yeah.
The only problem is like when you do things, it's like,
I agree with that.
right? But it's like that Buddha story. Remember the one you told me about before? Like Buddha had a kid, and then he put his kid in the monastery, and then it's like, but you got to live your life. I can live my life.
Yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, that's important too. It's like you need lived experience in order to understand fully,
Of course.
or also just knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. If you just have knowledge, then you don't really have wisdom. You're just knowledgeable,
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's important that like a lot of people, like when they think about this idea of like instant fame, or like becoming viral or whatever, it's like, but what are you also like, why are you doing it, and what are you going to be known for? Because like I see like a lot of like there's a lot of funny videos out there,
Yeah.
but like I'm not saying stop the funny video, like that's great, they entertain me,
Yeah.
but like
Oh yeah.
but just understand that funny video is now tied to you forever, because the internet never forgets, right?
Well, it will be on the internet, but your 15-minute of fame is over. Like,
No, totally. But then, like, let's say you're in the future. You thought you've moved on,
Yeah.
and then somebody's like, "Hey, I just saw this video of you," and you're like, "Oh my god, I forgot about that."
Yeah. I just don't know how easy that's to find, but sure.
What do you mean defined? Like,
If it was connected to your name, maybe like if there's something. I think it just depends on what you do or how you do it.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's why you should be cognizant of the choices you make.
Yeah, and the image you want to portray.
That's really what it is. Like, I feel like people don't. I remember when the internet and social media, like one of the reasons why I got into marketing is because like when we were younger, everyone was like, "Oh, be wary of what you put online because that's your like public persona," and everyone didn't care. They're like, "Whatever, I'm just gonna talk about all my feelings in my status update," But it's like people can see that your status update, and then that's gonna be attached to your image. Do you really want to put that out there? And like I remember,
That's why I don't do any of that.
Exactly,
I don't know why
yeah.
I don't do any of that. Like I don't do any status updates. Like I don't care.
right?
I don't like anything. I don't do any of the stuff.
You're a
that is-
digital ghost.
I'm with, I'd rather be the ghost like that.
Right.
But it's not like
But that goes back to the Diogenes thing, right? Like you just don't want to. You want to like live in the world, like
I
Just
see it
move
happening.
through.
Oh, that's cool. But I don't need to like it.
right. Totally. Yeah, but okay. So But going back to it,
Anyways.
it's like, but that's a cognizant decision,
Yeah.
you know? Whereas a lot of people just like act on things and it's like you don't really realize the power. I guess it goes back to the Social Dilemma, that documentary of like, you don't understand. Like people are like, oh, I didn't know these algorithms existed. But also at the same time, it's like, do you also understand that what you put out in the world stays in the world? You know, like what you put out online stays online. But so going back to it, like the reason why I got into marketing is because I was like, this is a crazy tool that we can all use in the future. Like when I was a kid, I was like already starting to like with the bands, I was trying to make them like cool with band websites and like whatever. And like, but people never looked at it like that. They looked at it like it was their diary. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I think that's not good.
Right? Because then it's like, we're all reading your diary. We're all reading your thoughts. Why would you put this up here? And then that's when you get things like cancel culture, right? Like Kevin Hart, he stopped hosting the Oscars because of a tweet he made like 10 years ago. But the internet never forgets, right? So it's like, that could happen, you know?
Yeah, but also like, yeah, those are different things. But like, yeah, okay, he had that 10 years ago. He might have changed.
But that's what I mean. That's what I mean. He might have changed, but the internet never forgets. What you put online, it's like, we don't care that you changed. We just care that you wrote this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's why it's important to understand what you put online.
Yeah, I think something didn't that happened to also like one of the directors for one of the Marvel ones, and then
He got booted?
yeah, Disney let him go, but then everybody was like,
why would you let him go?
Yeah, everybody. I think like everybody got involved. Like, no, this is not his view. I forgot what it was for.
Okay.
And then eventually Disney like got him back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
it's like,
that's good.
Yeah.
At least they did that. But yeah, I think it's super important to understand like what you put out in this world will stay in this world.
Yeah.
I think even Kevin Hart, when he put that tweet out like 10 years ago, he probably didn't think like that. It was 10 years ago. He probably was just like, oh, this is funny. I'm going to put this up. It'll like make my career. Because like a lot of like comedians will like do Twitter accounts that are funny.
Yeah, he's super young too, right?
Right. Yeah, totally. So it's like, he probably wasn't thinking about that. But now he's like, oh, like I got to be more cognizant of it. I feel like we need to learn from the lessons of the people that came before us so you don't make the same mistake.
Yeah.
You know?
But then it's also back to
you got to make your own mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also it's like, but realize you're about to make this mistake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you don't understand like if you don't have the realization, how do you understand?
Totally, yeah. Yeah, true. Sometimes you gotta live. But
I think when you're young, you don't really understand these things.
Right. But that's why I put that like young Yoda quote up of like, you have to live with the decisions you make in this world. So it's like, even if you don't know or you do know, you're gonna have to live with your decisions.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we didn't have all that Twitter and that stuff growing up, so we had
MSN
good.
chat.
Yeah, but like
MySpace.
that's not.
But that was
really...
still way later. That was when you were like 13 or something like that.
Yeah, like even then, that's not like generally
to the world.
To the world, it's just to your friends.
Yeah, true, very true.
Actually, no. The only thing that was with that was your status. Like you could write something in the status.
Of MSN, it was like to everyone. Yeah, for sure.
So that's the only thing that was that I could think of that everybody could see. So it's like,
it's so funny too. Like we didn't fully comprehend the totality of the internet growing up. Like even with MSN chats, right? Like you could save those, but like we never thought about that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
All right, final thing. I guess, well, hold on. Technically, you could think about that about this podcast as well. You know,
yeah.
It's like 10 years down the line, they play us a clip, and it's like, we're like, yeah, but I meant it when I said it. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I feel like you got to own what it is that, like, that's why I like Kevin Hart.
I don't think we've said anything that's.
No, totally. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're pretty cognizant of what we're talking about.
Totally. But like, I think that's why I like Kevin Hart's thing. He's like, I'm not going to apologize.
Yeah,
because he said I already apologized.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to go on this whole tour about apologizing. It's like I said it.
No, but the thing was like no. The thing was it did come up later. He already apologized, and then it came up again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, I already apologized. Why is this like? So that was the issue.
Yeah, totally. It's too bad he lost the Oscar for that one though, like hosting the Oscars.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, you gotta live with the decisions you made in this world. Yeah. I think he's a good embodiment of that. That's why he like owned it. He was like, no, I did it, but it's done. We don't need to talk about it.
Well, he didn't lose his career, so
Nah, yeah,
it's not a big deal with the Oscars.
True. Yeah. All right. So final thing, what do you think of the Miles Morales game so far? Of what
So
you played
far,
it? Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah. So far, I mean, that's just like 4% in the game.
I could hear like the music blasting out of your headphones.
I
I was like, oh,
that's cool.
But you have the PS5, so there are no haptics yet, or there are haptics?
There is a little bit of haptics. It's not like, I don't think it's full-fledgedly used. I don't know if that's
You're
right
waiting
word.
for the PS5 digital download of it? Upgrade?
No, this is the PS5 version.
Oh. Wait. Oh, you just got the PS4 and then upgraded it.
No, there's only one version to buy.
Oh.
Digitally.
Okay. Interesting.
Meaning, like, it knows if it's a PS5 or it's a PS4.
Oh, but okay. It'll just adapt accordingly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. That's cool. Yeah, so not full on haptics, but it's a good game.
At the moment, yeah. I mean, I think it's the same fun as the original Spider-Man that was there on the PS4.
I was listening to a lot of people.
Really good game.
Yeah, I was listening to a lot of people talk about how like that was the best game they've ever played.
You remember
So
the
I'm like, really?
Yeah, you remember the picture you took? Like, I was playing the Spider-Man game at like the Comic-Con thing or whatever they have here.
Yeah.
I was like, had a super big ass smile on my face.
Yeah.
Because the swinging is amazing. I don't know why it's so
Really?
good. I don't know why, but it's like, this is the way to do it.
Interesting. Okay.
It's like, whoa, this is, yeah. So it's like the same kind of thing. I feel a little bit with the PS5 triggers, a little bit of the tension.
Yeah.
Like when you're
the haptics, you mean?
Yeah. So the triggers don't have the haptics. Triggers are they have the tensions.
Oh, tension. Yeah. Okay.
And then there is like the normal haptic movement of when like there's a bus going by, like you feel it, or like
Oh, that's cool.
walking on some things, you feel it like on each side.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that game. I don't know if you ever played it. Like when I saw you playing this Spider-Man game, the first one, not this one. It reminded me of the Superman game from N64.
Never played it.
Oh, it was the best game ever because you could fly
Right.
anywhere. It was basically like a city, and you had all of Superman's powers. So like you could fly all the way to like the highest sky and then plummet all the way back down. Like you felt like a god, you know.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out how to make another Superman game. Like it.
They should make that. They should remaster that game. Like it's so good.
Yeah, I don't know who had the rights to that, but like I know.
You could like break through buildings. You could like shoot lasers. Like you felt like a god,
figure it out.
bro.
They're trying to figure it out, like how to make it
Make you feel like
for
a god.
today's time, like that kind of stuff. I
Right.
don't know how.
I think it's about the money that goes into it because like Spider-Man has such a big following and there's been so many Spider-Man games. But how many iterations of Superman games has there been? Not that many.
Because it's hard to do.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
they, I think it was Rocksteady.
Demand,
that,
though.
the Rocksteady had like there were some leaks that came out that they were working on one.
a Superman game.
Yeah, but they still.
But but you need commercial buy-in, right? So it's like what so like
But
if
you need. I know, but I think there is a big commercial buy-in.
No, right. But there has to be a precedent, right? So it's like why would I give you money if you can't show me that it'll be successful? But there's been so many Spider-Man games that it's like, oh, it'll just fall into
No,
line.
exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think that's the thing that they haven't figured out how to make or find a good idea that works for Superman that is sellable, or like that can like bring the hype and stuff like that. They just haven't figured it out. Like they're probably working on different things, but you haven't like how do you make it like a long game?
Right.
Like I think the Batman ones were really good.
Right.
But how do you fit a Superman? You can't fit Superman in Batman's world. Like how do you make a story around Superman that works for Superman?
Right.
And tells a good
Because
story.
you're so powerful, you just like blow through a building.
Exactly.
True. I didn't think about
so
that.
it's like how like that's why I think that they need to like do they need to do a Superman story per se or like like maybe when he's Clark Kent? I don't know like how they're gonna
right because technically how do you put like boundaries on it?
Yeah.
Because like you can build like sandboxes for your character.
Right.
So there's like a limit, but for Superman there's no limit. So it's like
exactly. So what do you do?
But that's why the N64 game was amazing. There was no limit. You could just fly everywhere and do everything.
Right. But was it a good game? Like
No,
I guess
I just rented it and I played the flying mode. That's it. I didn't even play the game. I just played flying.
What was the review? I want to look up the review for this game because like as
I'll
kids
watch it,
when
like-
you play it, it's a different
True,
experience.
yeah.
What it is like as an adult. Like,
We got away with a lot as children. Like people who created video games back then, like they made some terrible games, but we love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember Warriors?
But the thing was, I think back then anything goes because we don't know what works.
True.
And now you're getting it more fine-tuned.
True.
Like, okay, we know what works here. We know what works there.
Do you? Well, speaking of fine-tuned, well, hold on. Let me go back to this. Do you play Warriors?
No.
Okay, so
I didn't play games like
no, but like I rented it so many times. And
probably, but again, like maybe
you don't
one or two
remember it.
times.
Okay,
I
so
just don't remember.
So the funnest part of that game is just the characters. When you beat them up, they don't die, so you just stomp them for hours, and like that's what we did as kids, just like stomp the characters. But I guess you do that GTA 5 too.
Yeah.
So like yeah, but all right. So going back to it, like iterations, right? Probably the reason why the swing was so amazing is because they made so many versions of the game that it's like you kept making it slowly better.
Of
Like
course. Yeah.
like when I saw it, I was like, oh, this reminds me of that Spider-Man movie game because there was a Spider-Man movie game that came out, which was amazing. I think it was like Spider-Man 2, the movie, and like you could swing throughout the whole world.
No, I played a ton of Spider-Man games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So many of them, and like this was the
Because-
PS4 one was the one.
Yeah, because it's the best iteration. A lot of people said that it was their favorite game of all time. And what they're saying is it's because it was a living world and they would just like swing. But when you say living world, I take that with a grain of salt because a real living world is like GTA 5. Like that was so trippy when we're like going down one place and then like another person was coming. I'm like, or are they doing their mission? And you're like, yeah.
Right.
Like
yeah.
that's a living world.
Right.
know?
Right.
This is like an NPC world.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. Even with the NPC world, like you're not really in. You're
Like
just swinging all the
interacting. You're
time.
swinging.
You're not
Yeah,
really
exactly.
interacting. Yeah.
It makes you wonder about how Cyberpunk's gonna be with their NPCs. You know,
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see another week or two, I think.
cool. You gonna pick that up too? Cyberpunk?
Yeah, I pre-ordered it way back.
Was it
Way back when it first
CD?
announced it.
CD? You got?
Yeah,
Okay. I thought you were gonna cancel and get digital.
I'm still thinking about it. I still have
Oh,
time
okay,
to
cool.
decide.
Yeah.
But like the thing is that I paid $50 because there was a deal when I pre-ordered it. When if I buy the game now, it's like $80. It's like,
Ooh, yeah.
I don't mind keeping the I have a PS5 disc version, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true. But when you bought it, it's PS4, right? It's not PS5.
Yeah, but they only it'll work for both.
No, right, yeah. But I mean, like, there is no like upgrade like with the digital download for Spider-Man, and then it knows which version to play.
No, it knows which version you have, so it will.
Oh, so it'll unlock better features.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
You don't have to.
I thought like with CDs is like hard coded, so it's like only one version. So
No.
playing-
So no, it is hard coded,
That's
but
fascinating.
because it reads like it can read it and it knows digitally. Okay, this disc is for PS4, but you're playing on a PS5, so they'll probably download the upgrades to the PS5. And then they said next
like
year
patches and stuff.
Yeah. And then I think they said next year they're gonna make a full-fledged one for PS5 or for the next gens.
That makes sense.
So that's also a free upgrade. That's what they said.
cool. All right, look forward to
So
that.
might as well just keep the disc one.
Yeah, totally.
It's just
totally.
$50.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, that's gonna be a long game though.
It's a long game. I mean, I had Witcher for a long time. So
Did you beat Witcher?
yeah, we played it eventually at the end of the life cycle of my PS4.
Oh, right. But like, I feel like Cyberpunk will be cool, but I personally won't jump into it until it goes online. Like, it's like
Yeah, I think they might do it. We don't know. There's still rumors around it. So
because there's
we'll
no
see.
if you built this entire amazing world, well, we gotta see if it's amazing first. Because like, there's a lot of hype, and then you play, and you're like, it's not that great. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think one thing people should don't expect it to be just straight up like guns blazing kind of game. It's an RPG, a full-fledged RPG.
That's cool though. I like that.
So that is what their roots are, and they haven't left that. Is what I heard so far. So,
Okay, I like that though. I like that. Yeah.
but it's a long game. Yeah, but there's like I don't know. I have to decide which 3 storylines you want to start at. So, like there's
Oh yeah. You could be like the
Nomad
businessman.
or the street kid or
Yeah,
a
that sounds
business
cool.
person. I'm thinking the business person. But yeah.
When are the PS5 games gonna start coming out? Like,
No, they're already out.
they're like
Some are out.
exclusives.
I'd like to be only on PS5. I think they've had the Dark Souls one is only on PS5. I think
And that's it.
at the moment there are maybe some here and there, but like I don't. It'll be like throughout next year or the year after when you'll get only games on the PS5.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because the PS4 is like, there's so many of them. They gotta
Yeah, totally.
sell it for both systems or not.
I think that'll probably be when like if you look at like the technology adoption, like parabola, whatever you call it. What do you call wave? I don't know. It's a parabola though.
Sure.
So yeah, you're like the early adopter. I'm more like the late adopter.
Yeah.
I need the games on there already. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because what would the point? I mean, it's great. It's super cool that you got it, and like
Mhm.
the games are sick. But like, I just like, I would need a console exclusive. I'm like, I gotta play this game.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. I think God of War might be the one. Might
Yeah, it
be
was
the
good. It
first
was good. It
one.
was good. But I'm more into online right now, especially after we've been playing like Call of Duty and GTA 5. Like, I want like games that, like, even though like the Miles Morales is like downloaded, it's like I'll jump into that. I'm not sure when. Because like if like France like, hey, you want to play online? I'm like, yeah, let's go. You know,
Of course, yeah. Multiplayer is always the great fun.
yeah, multiplayer is the win. Yeah, so.
Of course, yeah. When will that happen? I think it will be in 2022 when that sort of stuff, like only on PS5 or things like that.
Oh, okay. So there's still some time.
Of course, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
For me, there are some games that on the PS5 that I would like. Like I do want to get Dark Souls eventually, but I will wait till it's cheaper. Like I can wait. So there's a lot of games that I have for now.
I hear Dark Souls is hard, right? Is that the one where it's like you die one time, you start again?
Yeah, I don't know if you start from the beginning. There must be like some saves points, I think.
Or your like life is so weak or something. It's supposed to be a really
I don't know.
hard
I
game.
don't know. It's a remake, so
Oh, so it's not even original. It's a remake.
it's a PS3 one.
Oh, but it's like it's sort of like Final Fantasy VII. It's like basically a whole new game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Built for the PS5.
Oh, speaking of Final Fantasy VII, do you know who's gonna win the Game Awards yet? Did that come out? Because my money's on FF7
Well, when did that come out?
this year, the final year. Like, I'm just wondering when the 2020.
Well, I
Game
think it's
of the
supposed to be
Year
next
Week?
month
Next
where
month?
the Game
Alright,
Awards
cool.
are. So
Because I saw like a promo for it, so I was like, ooh, okay.
yeah, Jeff Keighley thing. Like who's
Jeff
which Game
Keighley.
Awards are you looking at?
I don't know. I just saw it on IGN. So I was like,
Okay.
it showed like all the.
I guess that's the Jeff Keighley thing. I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my money's on Final Fantasy VII.
Was that one of the list on
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
on
Final
the
Fantasy VII.
nominations?
I think so.
Of
It was
the-
like in the images. Last of Us,
Final
Fantasy VII, and some other games.
Game Awards 2020 nominees.
So who are they?
Yeah, Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
Animal Crossing for Nintendo, Last of Us Part 2,
Yeah.
there's Ghost of Tsushima,
Oh, okay.
Hades, and Doom Eternal. I don't know what Hades is. Those are up for Game of the Year.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy VII. I said it while I was playing it. I was like, "This is a really immersive. Like the world is amazing."
Did they want to piss everyone off and say Last of Us Part 2?
I didn't even play it though. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
No,
No, but
it's
I'm
okay.
saying like how people did not like it, but it's still a pretty good game.
No,
but-
no, I'm sure it's a great game, but like in terms of like who had the better selling or like who had the better like experience, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah, you think it was Last of Us 2?
that's the only game I played.
Oh, of those ones, yeah, okay, true.
I haven't even finished Ghost of Tsushima, but it is good. But I wouldn't say it's as good as Last of Us. I don't know what they look at criteria wise.
True. Okay, well, that'll be exciting when we find out.
Maybe like there are other things. So like
Watch it be
there's-
Hades.
there's Game of the Year, then there's narrative. Who would win in the narrative?
Okay, narrative is probably gonna be Last of Us 2.
Yeah, I think narrative will get Last of Us 2. There's ongoing, which means like multiplayer.
Okay.
Warzone is there, Fortnite.
Gonna be Warzone, obviously.
Yeah, I think so.
Unless Fortnite, that'd be crazy.
Mobile game, don't really care. I don't care about this one. Art direction. Art direction, I think. Ghost. Ghost of Tsushima.
No, I'm gonna say Final Fantasy 7.
Okay.
I saw your Ghost and I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, but Final Fantasy 7 is so immersive.
I haven't played it, so I don't know.
The visuals are so good. It's a
alright.
long game though. Too long. I don't like it. Like it's great. Like I don't like to live in worlds for too long, you know, unless it's like an online like GTA 5, obviously. But I mean like a solo kind of world,
Yeah.
you know. And I feel like Final Fantasy 7 was just too long in that world.
Right. Independent game, audio design. I would say Last of Us, maybe. I don't know. I'll watch it. It's Thursday, December 10th.
Okay, cool.
That's when. That's also when Cyberpunk's released.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
So.
yeah. So we'll see December. I'll mark that on my calendar. Yeah. So we'll see who wins Game Awards. All right.
I don't know what time, but it should be in the evening.
Cool. Any other things?
No.
All right. Pick a PS5.
If you can find one.
If you find one. All right. So be sure to check out ZenRealClothingCo.com for all of your apparel needs. Use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you want to check out free playlists, ZenRealClothingCo.com. Check out the ZenReal Radio. Oh, also on the YouTube channel of Socratic Gamers, we have like 24-hour streams of like lo-fi beats now. So like that's kind of cool if you're just looking for like mood music. And yeah, also if you're in the Portian Bakery, if you're in the Portian area of Scarborough, check out the Portian Bakery and say what up to Arvel. That's what's up. All right, till next time, Vish. Hopefully this audio is not bad. Sorry, we'll figure it out next time. And if it's good, you're welcome.
Okay.
All right, take it easy, Vish.
All right. Peace.
Bye.